Come up here and read something. Normally I can hide behind my keyboard and a guitar. This is a piece that I wrote probably like almost like maybe 2 years ago or so, or earlier. I watched this keynote address of Ray Bradbury, the author of Fahrenheit 451 and stuff like that. And his prescription for young writers or aspiring writers was to every day to read a short story, an essay, and a poem every single day, and to write a short story every week. And it didn't matter, he just said as long as you get that short story done every week. So this was the first story that I did, and so I kind of ended up on the last night staying up trying to finish the story, and I was like, I just gotta get it. And I didn't really write too many of those weekly stories because that was a lot of work. Anyway, it's called Sleep Treatment. Yeah, like I said, hopefully Nicole's story will bring you back up after this one. They asked me to sit with legs crossed on the floor. They asked me to stand. They watch as I stagger down the hall outside my room. They take notes on little clipboards, observations of my progress. I receive breakfast at 8, vitamins at 9, lunch at noon, dinner at 6. They say my muscles have taken to the treatment. This is good. They are beginning to see the desired results. They tell me I've done a great service. Now that the treatment has taken effect, I feel the changes. At night, I struggle to sit myself up. Sometimes I wake unable to fall back asleep. I wrestle around on my back until I feel tired enough to sleep again. I gaze at the ceiling, then at the walls. The darkness makes it near impossible to distinguish between them. In the day, it is equally difficult as the white paint is perfect without a smudge or gray fingerprint. Other times, the flesh around my arms feels numb, asleep. Things I could do a week before, I find myself unable to do now. I'll tell my arm to reach toward the ceiling, but nothing happens. They say this is part of the process. They say that letting go is the key. My steps have gotten harder, heavier. I use my arms now when I stand up from the floor. They press down on my thigh and ask me to lift my leg. I can't do it very well, so they lessen their force. They used to encourage me to push back. Now they say good and ask for the other leg. The treatment feels like a living thing inside of me, changing me at its chosen pace. I no longer stand from the floor. The last time I tried, I held onto the bed frame and pulled, but I couldn't straighten my body. My arms got tired and I stopped trying. My limbs feel constricted as though tied down by fabric. I can move them, but there's a slight resistance that exhausts me without pause. Every morning at 8, they spoon cold cereal into my mouth. They ask if swallowing is difficult. I tell them a little. They ask about chewing. I say the cereal is okay. At 9, they grind the vitamins, mix the powder and water, hold a cup to my lips. They tilt the cup. The tasteless fluid flows into my mouth, and I swallow. Excellent, they say. For lunch, they give me soft bread with ground meat and applesauce, and for dinner, mashed peas, potatoes, and fish. Each meal, the bites become smaller to make swallowing easier, they say. For 3 days, I have not left my room. I'm close, they say. They are very pleased. They hang a clock on the wall opposite my bed. They tell me to watch it. They say time is important, and I believe them. I watch the clock. It is most exciting when the hours hand and minutes hand overlap. I think about how hours can feel so long and seconds so short. I dream more now. The dreams feel so real. In one of them, I'm in a field of grass and someone is calling to me, a woman. I look all around, but I never find her. The field goes on forever. When I wake, I look at the clock. I look down at the pressed white sheets and the ridges of my legs and then up the white walls of the clock. It's round, a perfect circle. The numbers are fuzzy, but I have them memorized. Today, the doctor visits me. He asks how I'm doing. I tell him I'm tired and I feel weak. He says that is to be expected. He tells me the hard part is over. He asks if I could please tell him the time. I look at the clock and try to focus my vision. I see the clock's round shape, but its center is a blurred swirl of black and white. No, I tell him, I'm sorry. Quite all right, he says. In another dream, my mother stands naked before me. She is pregnant and crying. She says, I can't do it. I can't let you take him away. Her eyes are blue, and I realize this is the first I've cared to look. My fingers feel stiff. I clench my fists and release. This takes a long time. My knuckles work against me. They stick a small tube into the inside of my elbow. This is how you'll eat from now on, they tell me. It'll be much easier. I breathe, and my chest pushes out with difficulty as though against water. The room is fuzzy and blurred like in one of those paintings where the colors bleed into one another. There are no fine lines. Everything changes slowly, except in my dreams where each detail is clear and focused. They take tests, samples of my blood. They test my breathing, my lung capacity, how hard I cough. A nurse holds her palm flat on my forehead. Another holds a small light to my eye. I haven't seen myself in a long time. They tell me I've done a wonderful job. I am letting go. I am moving forward. They shuffle in and out. There are many of them whispering, but I can't hear the words. A hand grips mine, but first it pulls my fingers open. Our palms make contact. The hand is warm. I can feel the life in it. A man's voice says, "We are all so proud of you. You are truly letting go. We'll be here until it's over, right here by your side." My heart beats loudly. I am awake, but I am dreaming. In the dream, hundreds of leaves, dried and brown, rustle along a road. All I can hear is my heartbeat. The voice continues speaking to me. I only know that because of the vibration. I only know that because I can feel it, and I know how important today is. My mother is in the dream, for once without concern, but I know she's sad. My heart is like a drum echoing through the hills, announcing the passage of time. The drum spreads out and fades like the sun from my vision. And that's it. Thank you.